Hello, this is Elizabeth Clare Brewington, and I am your host with Brightside Global Trade TV, online streaming podcast. And we also have an inbox newsletter so that you never miss any of our videos. So we're moving into the election year, and we always feel like when these smaller elections take place, it's so hard to get voters to get motivated to come to the polls to vote. And so that's why we do this segment. And we're so excited to introduce you to George. And George, tell us about yourself and tell us about what you're running for. And then I'll ask you some questions.
Sure. So my name is George J Papastrat. I'm running for the U.S. House District 3 seat. That's in Eastern North Carolina. This all started about a year and a half or 2 years ago. So I am a retired Marine. So I'm a combat veteran of Iraq and Afghanistan. I retired in 2017 and called Jacksonville home. I'm originally from upstate New York, my wife and I. So now my wife, myself, and two kids call Onslow County home. And I'm a small business owner. So I own one of the oldest businesses in my area. It's a bait tackle boat sales place called Tideline Marine. And I'm a 100% disabled veteran. And for the longest time, I was taking a lot of opioids and other medication. And I wanted a different option. So I wrote to the congressman responsible for my area because I felt my wish was at a federal level. So I asked for him to take into consideration using medical cannabis and decriminalizing cannabis across all 50 states is an option to reduce. It fits every problem we have in this country, and you can solve it with that. And I felt like the response was very one-sided, very abrasive. I'm a doctor. There's no good use for that. Shut the door. I built a hypobaric chamber in the Midwest for veterans. That's cool, but in my congressional district, we've got the largest Marine Corps base on the East Coast, the largest base on the East Coast, actually, and the fourth largest population of veterans. So it's a very diverse community. Although it's a Republican area, the community represents people from all walks of life. And so I started noticing things that didn't necessarily fit with what I thought should be the right thing for my country to be like, which is a place for the life, liberty, and pursuit of happiness for all people, all walks of life, to be able to have a good day, go home and be safe and secure with their families, the American dream. So I continued to write to all of my legislators about medical cannabis issues of small businesses, issues that veterans are having. And it seemed like that we have lost touch with the ability to communicate with people and understand that we're human beings and we're citizens of a country and we're all completely different. So I thought that I could do a better job at uniting my district together, as well as pushing the other 434 US representatives to potentially doing good for our country instead of pointing fingers and arguing. So my goal is to get elected, federally decriminalize cannabis so that everyone can have an opportunity to find medication outside of the generic, here's a pile of pills to take, things like that. And then also in our district, that benefits us because it increases the agricultural economy that we already have in our area. And it also fights we talk about the border war on drugs. That only exists because we prescribed opioids. If we didn't give millions of Americans Oxycontin for the last 30 years, people would be smuggling drugs across the country to fill that void, right? So we can literally use a cash crop that puts money into this district and across the country, because we're talking at the federal level, as well as decrease the overdose rate and the addiction to prescription pills. So that's how it all started. And then here we are today.
That's true. And why not use resources that we have? But of course, we have to go through all these regulations and processes that make everything safe, especially with medicines and medication. So tell me, are you excited? The primaries are around the corner, and is there any? I mean, what do you see as your challenges, and what do you see as your opportunities?
So I think that this was the greatest decision I've ever made in my life, because I've learned so much about myself, so much I didn't know about my country and my community. This is the fourth largest, give or take, congressional district in the country. So it's a pretty big area, and it covers at least I think it's 14 or 15 counties. And I've been to almost all of them. I live and work because of my industry on the coast and move around a lot. And a common thing that I've noticed is that if you go around and talk to people, US citizens who are all amazing people that live in this district, everyone really wants the same thing. They want just to be able to do what they think is their purpose in life and enjoy themselves doing it. And regardless of what we see as an issue in our country, all of that stems from us having to pick a side and then point fingers at each other. And so, as my mom would say, I'm just having fun with it. So I go places, and like we talked about before the interview, I'm a registered Republican, but I'm a United States citizen first. So my beliefs, are for the United States of America and every person in my district. We have our convention this weekend for the 3rd Congressional District. So I bought like a blue suit with stars all over it with like a striped tie. So I'm gonna dress up like and just and show that we can have fun. We're a community, and that's the important. So I never expected my recognition or my name to get as big as it is. I owe no money to anyone. I've got no financial backings, no company. I've done this all grassroots style. I'd never in my wildest dreams thought that people would come into my store and say that I was driving 70 miles away and your one sign stuck out, because I only ordered 300 street signs for the entire district because they're expensive. But
Yes.
I made it look like the Marine Corps dress blues pants, and things that would be eye-catching and relevant. So I'm just having fun, and I'm excited because the incumbent, if was doing his job properly and working for the district, wouldn't have 4 people running against him, right? Because if you're right, so I think that we see this across the country, and the majority of the candidates, I'm friends with them all. We all kind of, at least half of us, had the same goal. We all have already talked, like if one of us end up getting the nomination, we want to, we're going to come together as a team and support each other. So I've learned a lot and made a lot of friends. I've seen some really dark side of politics, things that, I've fought in 2 different wars in both election cycles. And
well, thank you for your service.
Yes, ma'am. We used our military to provide security for other countries' elections, and we don't have that same right in our country that we're the example of. We have gone and kind of messed it up.
Well, it's very difficult to be a Marine, and we have a few Marines in our group, and so we're very proud for what you've done for the country and for your service. And I think you'll be outstanding. And just listening to you, I think you have everything that your consistent need. So I wish you well. And if you win, we'll do another interview. And if not, I'd fishing. So maybe we'll come and visit you and and do some fishing. Yeah. So that would be awesome.
It's good.
Yes. So once again, we're hosting a luncheon, and we are honoring our veterans, trailblazers in business. We will have candidates as well as elected officials, and a delicious lunch with the Village Steakhouse. So we hope that you will come. And if
I saw that. That looks good.
Yes, if you miss it, you can watch everything on demand. So thank you for watching, and tell us what your website is, George. So if anyone wants to reach out to you or get to know you, how can they reach you?
Sure. So my website is www.georgeforcongress.com. It's www.george4congress.com. And so I can be reached there. And then I also, it's George for Congress on Facebook, Instagram, and then J Papastrat, George Papastrat, my last name, for Twitter.
And we'll make sure that those links are available at the bottom of this video. And if you have another video, we can link to that so you can get to know George. So it was very nice to meet you, and good luck with the election.
Thank you. I appreciate it.